Hey everyone, thanks for tuning back in to OTRAM's YouTube channel. Today we're working on FZJ-80 Land Cruiser, doing a bunch of oil seals, oil leaks, stuff like that. We just finished up the oil pump cover and front main seal. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to video that one this time around, but hopefully in the future we'll get that one shot. We do it all the time. But I'm in here on a Saturday trying to play catch up, and we've got the valve cover gasket off, all ready to do the valve cover leak, and I'm getting ready to do the oil pump, or I'm sorry, the distributor O-ring. And I figured while we've got the valve cover off and everything out of the way over here, the battery and that, it'd be a good chance to shoot how to do the distributor O-ring. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this over to top dead center on number 1. And I had it almost set, so there we go. We're on top dead center number 1. And the way you can tell this, and what makes this easy with the valve cover gasket off, is you can actually see the back of the timing gears for the camshafts. And when the painted line with the single dots lines up across, you know that you're on top dead center number 1. The cheater way to do it, if you don't have the valve cover off, when the distributor rotor is pointing pretty much right at the edge of this electrical connector, you know you're in the ballpark. So if you're at 0 on your balancer pulley and this is pointed up here, you know you're in the ballpark of being on top dead center. I'll insert either a picture of these two timing marks or maybe a little video of them coming together and lining up in the top to give you a better view of that. So anyway, we've got it. We're at top dead center. And unstick that from my ratchet. We're going to go ahead and take the ratchet off the crank pulley. That way we don't forget that it's there and start the truck. So now we're pointed here. We can go ahead and take, well, that guy's stuck. Come on. Let me grab a pick. Sometimes the connector on those sticks and you got to reach around from this side. Come on. There we go. So we can get that out of our way. And then I've gone ahead. This is your distributor timing adjustment bolt down here. I went ahead and took a paint marker and drew around it. We're going to have to reset the timing anyway when we're done with this, but if you mark where that bolt was, then you're that much closer to proper timing when you put everything back together. So we can go ahead, that's a 12mm wrench. We can go ahead and take that guy out. Stick it over here. And now we can take our distributor out, and this is the O-ring we're after right here. So I grab that pick again. And these are usually brittle enough that you can just break them and they'll break off and come out. Let me grab the new O-ring and I'll be right back. So we've got our new O-ring on here. I went ahead and put some motor oil on it to lubricate it and get it ready to install. And then, I don't know how well you can see it, there's a notch right here in the end of the distributor housing. And then if you spin the rotor, or the gear, there's a corresponding groove on the actual distributor. So that lines up with the notch in the housing. And then you can see it puts the distributor a little bit off of where we took it out. So you line those up, and then you eyeball the distributor back in the orientation where it was, like where you marked the adjusting bolt. We can start to slide it down here into the housing. And then once it's through, we'll look inside here, make sure that our two lines are still lining up. And then oops, let me pull that back out a little bit. Make sure those are still lining up. And then we'll start feeding this in. And there you can see the distributor is pointing to the opposite side of the black plug. I'm one tooth this way. When I put it together, let me spin that guy again. We'll line those grooves back up. And there's magnets in here, so you can kind of feel it line up. And I'm still off. This is why it's easier to do this with the valve cover off, because you can see the lines inside, although it's not really helping me today. There we go. So now we've fed back in. We're now on our drive gear, and we're pointed slightly ahead of the plug like we were when we took it apart. So now we can put our adjusting bolt back in. We can eyeball that up to our mark where we took it apart. And we'll just lightly snug that down for now, because we're going to come back and set the timing. And I'll link to the timing adjustment video on the end card. So there you go. That's replacing the distributor O-ring and getting everything lined back up. Hope you found that helpful. If you did, please subscribe below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.